Welcome, 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 welcome. Liverpool 12th Man Show here, and I am, take down my pineapple juice. I am here to give a Burnley review, or Burnley preview, excuse me, and I'm going to do the best I can to show you who I think is going to be the predicted lineups, who we should be able to, or who we should most likely think to see for scorers, for predictions for this for the actual game as well, and also some other little clips, some updates on some news from some of the players that are like hot topics in the news today, as far as our Liverpool FC Reds. So again, I am going to get into this. I know it's kind of late. It's late in the it's late in the UK right now, so there could be some people that are with me and maybe not, but all the same, this is a global thing, so you know how it goes. We are going to definitely make sure that if you do check this out, whether live or on the replay, at least you'll have some valuable information to try to break down to get you on the right path towards what to expect come tomorrow. Because or maybe even today, depending on where you are in the world, for sure. So yeah, so we are going to definitely have a little fun today and make the best we can with the time that I have available to try to get this in, because this isn't going to be a long episode. It's simply going to be just me getting into a lot of what I believe is going to happen tomorrow. So I know that tomorrow is going to then it's definitely going to be something that we should kind of be mindful of when it comes to, when I say mindful, I mean like mindful in that it's an important, super, super important game, considering that it could, considering we had a horrible result at the Emirates, and considering that, I think the most part, considering that we need to recognize that this game could be, like every game, could be have some type of impact on our season, and that's just the honest to God truth. Every game that we end up facing is going to be some type of impactful game for our season going forward. So, what we do, and this is something that I've been stressing as well, is even more so important to me, what we do with the actual bounce back from losing in such a high profile game. That's going to be the biggest question that is going to be posed to us in this Anfield matchup. I think that we're fortunate that it is at Anfield. That's certainly something, at least I see as being the case. And it's something that, we have to keep in mind that, we have beaten this team before at Burnley. So, and we did really do well against them at Burnley. So I'm not necessarily, this isn't exactly the biggest of foes for us this weekend. However, it is still all the same. It's a team that we have to keep. Every team, no matter where they are in the table, we have to take seriously, and that's what I'm looking at as well. We have to take them. We have to take Burnley serious, of course. So big up to Dustin. Thank you for joining me, Dustin. I know Dustin was a part of the earlier show today. I did. This is like almost like only had like a 45-minute break before jumping back on here to bring you guys some of the info I think that might come, or might at least be a little bit beneficial for you guys. So let's just jump right into it, because again, I only have like at least another like 30 minutes to do this. So I'm gonna start with basically big up JK. JK was going to be a part of the show, preview show, but I have such a small window of time to do this show. So I'm just going to do it solo, but appreciate JK showing the support by being in the chat. Big up to you, and big up to Dustin, and big up to everyone that's just possibly listening, hasn't necessarily chimed in on the chat, but maybe listening at home or listening at work or, whatever it is. I want to bring up this as well. So I'm going to share this. And this is basically what I think is going to be our team when we go against Burnley at Anfield. This is at least the lineup that I expect to see. Whoops. So this is the lineup I expect to see. I expect to see Diego on the right. I expect to see, Diego, despite not scoring in the Arsenal game, a team that he does do really, really well against. I still think that Diego is certainly on a great patch of games or a run of games in scoring. He's someone that you almost have to include in the starting lineup, no matter who the opponent is. So I would have him on the right side. I know there's a shout out there for Diaz to start on the right and him to start and Diego to start on the left. But for me, I would like to just see, they're so interchangeable. It really doesn't matter where they start the game. It's just a matter of where they get the ball when they have to score. That's for me. So I'm looking at Diego on the right. I'm looking at Lucho on the left. And yes, Bradley is not going to be playing. Bradley is not going to be playing. At least the last report I saw, Bradley's not going to be in the lineup for us this weekend. He's still dealing with the loss of his father. Again, hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to him with what he's dealing with. Again, I can sympathize losing a close family member like that. And also, I believe Gomez, as has been reported, possibly is ill with the flu or some type of sickness. So I don't think that we're going to see Gomez either. I personally don't want to see Gomez in this game because there's reasoning behind it. Before the Gomez lovers, hop on the chance to take me out here. And the reason why I'm saying I would like to see Gomez get a rest, get a break, not only because he's sick, but also because we've been playing Gomez pretty consistently, whether it's at right back, left back, right center back, left center back. Like we've been playing him all along that back line. The guy could use, considering his record of history with injuries or record with staying fit, the guy could use a break. And this is the opportunity, I think, with a Burnley team at home. I think it's an opportunity for us to go into this game to get Robbo some necessary minutes, some necessary time to condition himself back into what we need from him, and also getting Robbo not only the minutes to where he could get a full 90 in, but also possibly opening up an opportunity for a youth player to get some valuable minutes and get some valuable experience in the game. And not only that, just getting the valuable experience in the feel-good moment for the players, for the youth players that would be called on into action. We are going to see, I believe, possibly one of those youth academy players who is now, like, the way he's been playing has been he's been playing as if he isn't a youth academy player, but he is certainly someone that is young but has an incredible veteran presence amongst them. And I have, Dustin, I do have some info on Salah as well. I have, I'm going to give an update on Salah. I'm going to give an update on the much maligned, if not beloved at times, Thiago. And I'm also going to give you a little comment that I saw, interesting comment that I saw from Curtis Jones on regarding the loss and regarding what went down with Arsenal. But again, I'm looking at this back line to be Robbo, looking at it for it to be obviously our captain, Virgil van Dijk, who has to make amends and certainly I would assume is going to make a real strong plea and an effort to make amends from the performance last week. I know that Kwanzaa most likely will get the start. I think only because of not because Konate doesn't deserve it, but more so one because Konate is, I believe, out with a red card, so he won't be even an option or an actual selection choice for us this weekend. But Kwanzaa has stepped up in that role, and we all know Kwanzaa's never say die attitude when it comes to making the most out of the opportunities that are at hand. And then finally on the right, especially considering that Connor's not going to be there, especially considering that Gomez will not be there, and especially considering that he's the choice that I would make regardless, Trent Alexander-Arnold, our vice captain, will be making a definite game. He'll be showing out in this game to really make up for last week's performance. You could tell they just wasn't up to the performance standards that were normally associated with Trent in the Arsenal game. It's something that I could see him definitely making a point to try to make something out of this game rather than just just kind of like throwing up his hands and walking off the pitch as what some people kind of said he was dealing with. Obviously, Alisson we have in goal, but in our midfield, this is a midfield that I think a lot of people have been wanting and waiting to see. Obviously, Dom could be that right side midfielder, but I don't think Dom is going to be that right side midfielder for tomorrow, obviously, because of his injury. He's still working himself back into fitness and will be available eventually. But for now, McAllister is definitely going to have to pivot from his normal role of playing in the 6 in that holding role where we see Endo. But I think we're going to see Endo, who makes a return to the lineup. It's going to be something of a welcome addition, because I know I'm a big Endo fan. I like the fact that there's a lot more people out there that have definitely gravitated towards appreciating Endo and what he offers and what he brings to the club. Jones, on top of that, everyone knows my love for Jones in the sense of saying I believe he's one of the most essential pieces in our midfield. Definitely like a Ginny style role in our midfield. So that's the midfield. That's the front line, the back line, the whole entire team. If you guys have if you guys can think of someone that you but you think is going to be in any of these roles, please do add them in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on the chat there. That's why I'm answering some of your questions as I go along. I think that we're going to definitely see Cody Hakpo in one way or another. I don't think we're going to see him starting in this game, but I think that we will see some minutes for him. I think that we could possibly see him get whether Lucho or Diego need the minutes to be saved, or even could be Nunez that gets the call to be replaced on the field for him. We're definitely going to see Cody play in this game. I want to see Cody bounce back. I think a lot of people have really given up on Cody, unfortunately, when I am not one of those people. I think Cody has some great skill sets. I think Cody just needs to find a nice run of games in one position and just get that run and get it good, get a good run and get a good opportunity to kind of like fine tune his game back to the levels that he was at before the Spurs matchup, where he ended up getting an injury in that matchup. I think I'd like to see him at those levels. Let's see. As far as Burnley, and I did have a lineup of who we might see going against us, and I just utilized one of the apps that I have here. So for Burnley, this is the team I think we're going to see us face. James Trafford in goal. Obviously, Lorenz, Dara, Maximin, Vitinho in that back line. I also think that has their average ratings going at their current status so far. Johan, Sander, Josh, Wilson, and then David and Lyle in the front lines for them. I think they're going to come out in a 4-4-2. I think they're going to sit back and do a lot of similar actions as to what they did against us at home, especially considering they're at Anfield. I don't think they're going to press forward too much. I think you're going to see Fofana or maybe even Foster occasionally dropping back into that midfield to provide extra coverage for us. I think they're going to give us a lot of possession in the runs that they're going to see for us. So I don't think that we're going to expect, or at least my expectations is not to see them really have some high octane style, approach towards the game against us in this. So, that's just at least my interpretation of it. Let's see. I had some info as well. Like I said, let me just look for here real quick. I have some info. So I got asked about Salah, and I'm gonna put this one back up here. I got asked about Salah. So let me see. Where is it? Where I have it for Salah. I have some information for Salah, at least a quote, at least going for Salah. Okay, so for Salah, this was the quote. This is by Klopp. This Jurgen saying this. Jurgen quote says on Salah, quote, "We hope he can be part of parts of training next week. So we have to see. He's going through all the paces." This is what Klopp is saying. And then Klopp continues to say, "But look, it's positive. It's either next week or the week after. If you ask him, it'll be next week." But, they're trying to be a little bit precautionary with their take on our superstar. And I don't want to. Burnley is not an opponent that is so dire that we need to have him. We could have used him against Arsenal, against the Gooners, considering how well and how great he does against that team. But obviously, Burnley is not on the levels of the Gooners. So when it comes to what we can expect, yeah, he's itching and pushing for him to get back into the lineup. Salah is pushing for him to get back in the lineup, but I don't think we will see him until at least next week, if not the week after that. As far as Thiago, I said I would make a mention of Thiago. As far as Thiago, and yes, before I even get into Thiago, let me bring up this comment, because this is a good comment by Dustin. Dustin says Darwin is a must for him. The back line kind of picks itself. Rav can come on for Endo, Darwin, Diego, and Diaz is fine, but also Darwin, Hakpo, Diaz could be a shout as being for his lineup. But Darwin is a must. It's amazing how important Darwin is to this club in the sense of the amount of I don't necessarily want to say the chaos that he brings, but the amount of pressure and the amount of emphasis or the amount of attention that he draws from our teams, from our opponents, is so important to note. It's something that creates opportunities for our other wingers. It creates opportunities for and I get it. You could say energy. Yes, you could say energy, Dustin, for sure. He brings, because I know when people say chaos, sometimes, it means it's an organized chaos. I don't like to say this, chaos means it's all over the place, no organization, no real focus. I think it's an organized chaos that he brings, if you're going to utilize the word chaos, because I want to make sure that I emphasize that Darwin is so important, that what he ends up bringing to the club opens up so many different angles and so many different opportunities for his teammates. And I think that people don't recognize those sheer facts when it comes to his importance for the club. As far as Thiago, I wanted to get on to about Thiago because we saw a brief introduction of him back to the lineup after months upon months, nearly an entire calendar year of him not being involved in the lineup, but much less even in the pitch. But he finally made he finally made an appearance in the Arsenal game on the bench, and then got involved in the last couple of minutes of the game when the game was already out of hand, or out of reach, I should say. But Thiago, this is the quote about Thiago. I know some people could care less about Thiago. Some people don't want to even care less about, these comments. But all the same, I like Thiago. So, and it's my show. So I'm going to give Thiago update. As far as Thiago, this is the quote, and this is a quote by Klopp. Klopp says, Thiago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we sat here and were talking about the luxury problem of lining up players. If anyone asks me that question again, then I will kick them out of the room, Klopp said ahead of Saturday's visit to Burnley. He said, we talk once about it, then a week later we have a completely different situation. He goes on to say, Thiago is not the situation with Thiago, because Thiago is cool. This is me saying that, at least. Thiago is cool, but in his loose with his loose translation, or I guess I would say poor translation, because he says Thiago is not cool. Everything looked absolutely fantastic in training, and then it's a muscle issue. So, big up Trap Joe. I haven't seen you in a little while, Trap Joe. Good to see you. I believe Trap Joe is in the Bay Area. He's got a big game coming up. I don't know if Trap Joe is a 49ers fan or not, but I know I believe he's in that area. I believe he's in the Bay Area. But anyway, Klopp goes on to say, we don't know the extent yet, but it's really not good news for him, for us, or everybody. He says, in normal procedure, it wouldn't be a big story, as he wouldn't have been out a long time. It's not a big injury, definitely not, but it's something nobody needed. I don't think that he basically went on to say that we are going to see Thiago play for this team again this year. This isn't like, oh, this is the end for this. That was the end for everything else. But again, we will see Thiago in this lineup. We will be appreciative of being able to use the resources of Thiago in a lineup with our club, whether it's in a luxury style, version of him, or even if it's in a dire necessary need of a player to fill that role. We'll see him as well. And also, this was a comment that I saw that was very interesting. He said, I believe this is Curtis Jones saying this, but I'd have to double check on that. But the quote goes, listen, that's why I've got to shut it all down in a respectful way. This is regarding the Liverpool game against Arsenal, because we all know that Arsenal was a letdown for all of us. It wasn't the performance that we were looking for, much less the performance that really exemplified who and what we are this year. So Curtis goes on to say, listen, that's why I've got to shut it all down in a respectful way, I'd say. This is his quote to BBC Sport. He said, the celebrations and all, that is all nice, but for many years, we've always been a team. Our fans have spoken about it, and the gaffer himself, the way he fist bumps the fans and stuff, that's kind of like our thing, So he goes on to say, so if they want to be stealing our stuff, referencing Arsenal, so if they want to be stealing our stuff, then it shows that we're on the right path, and we've got these who are copying us, meaning Arsenal. Well spoken, well said, bun Arsenal. How about that? Bun Arsenal. So anyway, yeah, they got one over on us. They got the win, but all the same, doesn't necessarily mean that I have to like the Gooners anyway in any form. I'm gonna ask for some score predictions from you guys. We've got about about like 10, 15 more minutes here in this episode. So I'm going to ask for you guys to give me some score predictions. I've given a couple of different ones. I was on the lines of saying either 4-0, 3-0. For me, I wanted to definitely have this be a bounce back game. I want it to be a game that we end up showing a statement game in the sense of just getting this confidence back, showing that we're not stuck, thinking about the Arsenal result. I want to be able to utilize the fact that 61,000 fans are going to be there this time with the stands completely open for full occupancy. And also, I want to make sure that we understand that we're ready for a lot of this big run that's going to be coming up for us. There's a lot of games that are going to be coming up against a lot of very, very, important matchups for us that could impact us either, negatively or positively. So we need every last one of these games are games that we must win, that we need to win. So let's see. I'm looking at Dustin saying 5-0. The high fives, as it's said in the FIFA game. 3-0 or 4-1. Jay Kismet is saying. Okay, yeah, I really, really, really need a clean sheet from Ali this weekend. I need one for him because look, that performance this past game, that performance against Arsenal was not VVD-esque. It was not Alisson-esque. It was not Trent Alexander-Arnold-esque. It was not Liverpool-esque. Okay, so I am definitely expecting to see a real measured and focused and committed, engaged performance from this team this weekend. Steven saying 1-1, but he hopes he's wrong. I don't see us getting. I know we're going to most likely be going up against a low block. I understand the fact, or at least they might not necessarily go completely in a low block, but we're certainly going to see a more giving up possession to us, trying to hit us on a counter type approach when it comes to Burnley. I don't think that they have the team to really, really get a result against us. No, Trap Joe. I will say this about your score prediction. I got pushed into making a score prediction on Beige and Reds TV. And originally I said it was going to either be 4-0 or 3-0. And a good friend of the channel, Beige and Pops, made a point to make me at the stand on one of the choices that I was going to go with. So I said 7-0. I added the two up and said, okay, 4-0, 3-0 equals 7-0. So I ended up saying 7-0, at least on their channel. I don't necessarily know if we're going to get 7-0. I'm leaning more towards 4-0. That's the score I'm leaning towards. I want to see us score 4-0. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be as high of a score as I would like to see, simply because I know they're going to pack the bus. I know that they're going to definitely look to throw bodies in front of a lot of different things, a lot of different shots and everything else. But I just like our chances in front of the Anfield crowd. It's a place that we rarely, if ever, draw in, much less lose in. So when it comes to scoring, I want to see us do just that. So big up, Trap Joe. Who do we have scoring? So I know, Dustin, you had 5-0. I know, JK, you had 3-0. Steven, I know you had 1-1. And I know Trap Joe had 7-0. Who do you have as our scorers for the weekend? Yeah, I got you. 4-0 would be nice, but tell me, Steven, tell me. You can tell me. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Dustin has DS scoring. I have DS scoring as well. I think DS will score. Who else do you guys have scoring? Steven has DS scoring too. I have Diaz scoring primarily because when it comes to low blocks, this is again why sometimes I don't understand the kind of I would say slander. Sometimes it's slander, but sometimes I don't understand why people are so harsh or don't want to or so harsh in their critique of Diaz. I just happen to think that Diaz is a talented player, but he's possibly, in my opinion, Diaz is the most potential goal scorer when it comes to dealing with teams that aren't looking to run the gambit on possession. When they're teams that sit back more in the 4-4-2s or or like a 5-3-2 or those kind of lineups. I look at it as like more so when you're looking at those low block teams, he's the one that we call on more so than not to be able to get us some type of penetration into their back lines. So yeah, I rate Diaz highly. So I have Diaz scoring as well. Looks like Dustin has them scoring as well. Steven has them scoring as well. JK has Diego scoring. He has Diego, Diaz, and Darwin. So basically our front lineup, or the front line that I have shown here. Dustin has Gravenberch scoring. Okay. Be interesting. I don't see Gravenberch starting this game, to be honest with you. I definitely see him possibly getting some minutes as a reserve, but I don't see him score. I don't see him starting. So it could be interesting. But if he comes in those later minutes where he's fresh and he can utilize his pace and he can get like some type of service or get a couple of touches here and there in difficult places for the team, I could see him scoring. Dustin, I think more so than not, I can see Curtis scoring before I see Gravenberch scoring. That's just my personal opinion. I just think Curtis looks to score more often than Gravenberch looks to score. But I'm not saying that Gravenberch doesn't look to score, but that it is. Okay, so Dustin, you had, what was the score that you had? Dustin had I think Dustin had 5-0. So you have Gravenberch scoring, Curtis scoring, VVD scoring, Diego scoring. Yeah, okay. And those 4, I got you. I'm going to say, I'm going to be cheeky here. I'm going to be cheeky, and I'm going to say in my 4-0 score, I'm going to have Endo scoring, Diaz scoring, Diego scoring, and depends on how fit he is. I want to say Nunez scoring too. I want to say Nunez scoring as well. But that's the parlay I'm going to play is Nunez, Diego, Lucho, Endo. Be my 4. I think that we might see a set piece. VVD is a shout. I think VVD is a shout to get a goal out of because I think we can see that happen. I want him not only to bag a goal. I would like to see Nunez score like a hat trick, to be honest with you. So, and that will be something that I probably will put a little couple dollars down to have happen because I would love to see Nunez. I would love to not only see him score a hat trick, but I'd like to see him score some goals to kind of put the naysayers and the haters to bed when it comes to it all. But it is what it is. So we got about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left of this program. So let's see some of your comments. I announced who you guys had scoring, but let's see. Steven says, I think Nunez will miss some easy chances. Steven. Come on, brother. I know you have it as a 1-1 draw. Oh, maybe that's why you have it as a 1-1 draw, is because you think that Nunez is going to hit the woodwork a couple more times. I think he leads the league in hitting woodwork. Actually, it's not hard to do when you break the record of 4 times in a game for the Prem at least. But it is what it is. You gotta love Nunez. I love what Nunez brings to the team. Not saying that Steven doesn't, for certain. I'm not saying Steven doesn't at all. But yeah, you gotta love it. JK says need Curtis to step up after 2 poorish games. Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I think that it's going to be. I think we'll probably end up seeing, in my humble opinion, again 5 subs. The 5 subs I think we'll see will be Gravenberch. We'll see a sub for in the lines of. We'll see the lines of who else will we see? Gravenberch will sub in. Let me think of who we will sub. That's a really good question. We'll see 1 or 2 youth players, I believe. Definitely Harvey. How could I forget? That's who was on the tip of my tongue. That's the only reason why I started mentioning who we'll see as subs is because I think we'll see Harvey Elliott. I think that we're going to see monitored minutes when it comes to either McAllister or even Endo, depending on what it looks like in the game. Because if anything, you could see Endo getting a rest and then moving McAllister into that 6 role and then bringing in Harvey in that right 8, or we could see McAllister get a sub out and see Elliott be to give McAllister some type of rest and give Elliott some minutes on that right 8. But I still think that we'll see the right 8 be replaced by Elliott. I also think that Gravenberch is a shout as well. If we see Gravenberch, we might see him on that left side in the lines of subbing in for Curtis Jones. Even if we were to see, even if he was to sub in for Endo, I think you can then move McAllister into that 6 and move Gravenberch into that right 8 side. So yeah, we're gonna see those 2 subs, I think, especially. And then when it comes to the other players, we might end up seeing finally, depending on how in hand the game is, we'll probably possibly see a sub. We'll probably possibly get to see Beck play, or we might even see McConnell get a shout, get a somewhat rare appearance. Might even see Kwanzaa get pushed over to that right side. I want to see Trent get some valuable minutes. I want to see him at least get 75 minutes in this game. So we'll see about that. Oh my goodness, can feel them. Long day of very long day of streaming today, but a very delightful day of streaming because I got to share some time with my Reds brethren. So that's all that matters to me. But yeah, that's who I think. That's what I see. That's how I look at it. This game's a very important game. Once again, every game is important. I know there's those out there that go under the pretense of saying, let's not look too far into the future when it comes to these games, in the sense of like our upcoming opponents that we have on the list. I agree with Steven, by the way, in this comment, and I agree with Steven. Most improved player of the season, definitely Curtis Jones. And also Dustin says, yeah, it's like Grav and Harvey on mine. And of course Hackbo if he doesn't start. Yes. And I think Cody will go into whatever he'll probably go as long as someone's not on 2 goals or something on a brace. Most likely he'll get subbed in for one of the members of the front line. I don't see Cody coming in as a sub for the midfield. You never know with Klopp, but I don't want to see him come in as a midfield reserve. I want to see him get time up front. I would ideally like to see him get time either in the left wing position or in that central striker position. But we'll see where he ends up playing for our club this weekend. Again, appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing love, sticking it out, not hopping in, hopping out, not doing a quick hello and everything. You know how some people do. They hop in, they say hello, and then they disappear. All real ones, day oneers in the chat. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. and ladies, in case there's some ladies in the chat. I'm not certain, but just in case. Big up to you guys all. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting game because it's 8 a.m. kickoff for me. So it does mean that you can drink alcohol at my local boozer or my supporter boozer, which is right here. Whoops, right here. Whoops, let me do it like this. Oh man, I keep getting it wrong. Right here. This is my local supporter scarf. But yeah, it's all good, Stephen. You'll find a place here. Don't worry about Anfield agenda. He has his own agenda. More so, just recognize the fact that you're a welcome participant in this right here, in which is the Liverpool 12th Man Show, because just like myself, you are a 12th man for this club. So look at it that way. But yeah, big up to each and every one of you. I think it's going to be a very big game for us this weekend. Like I said, 8 a.m. kickoff for me. I don't know what time. What time you can put in the chat real quick. What time is a kickoff for you? I know that it's afternoon kickoff for a lot of my UK friends out there and such. But again, yeah, it should be a fun day tomorrow. Hopefully, a fun day for all of us with a win, keeping us atop the league, despite the fact that City has a game in hand and can surmount us once they get equal. Once they do get equal in games or equal in games played. But for now, we have a game. They have a game in hand. So for now, we can still call ourselves top of the league. It's 7 a.m. in California. Arizona doesn't have time. Arizona does not have daylight savings time. So we're one of the unique places on the planet that don't spring forward. There's no changing of the watches here in Arizona. So it's only when I'm out in California that I got to change my watch. But yeah, big up Trap Joe. 7 a.m. Not easy, I know. Yeah, and Trap Joe, you got to tell me. I know you're in the Bay Area. You got to tell me where you're. I don't know if you do go to supporter clubs, supporter pub / supporter boozer in out there, but yeah, like I definitely would like to know if you do. I'm sure there is a supporter boozer in San Francisco, but if you do go to it, give a shout out for them, and so I can recognize when I do go visit my dad's side of the family, I can go and have a place to go when I'm in San Francisco. Big up Ozan, big up. Everton is going to get a result against City, 12th man. From your lips to God's ears. When I say that, let me say that for sure. So yeah, wow, Stephen, it's a 1:48. No, not what time it is there. I meant what time you have to actually. I just meant what time the game is for you. It's 1:48 where you're at. I get it. You're like more in the time zone of same time zone as JK, I think, because I think it's about that time for him too. But oh, I got you, Trap Joe. And it's a unique situation sometimes because I know being that Trap Joe's on the West Coast, for some of us out here in America especially, sometimes the game is at like 5:30, 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So, sometimes we don't get, and sometimes even if you are a drinker, you don't even have that option because you're not allowed, like for here at least in some states, at least in the state I'm living in right now or streaming from right now, it's 2 a.m. is last call. 2 a.m. is cutoff, actually, not even last call. 1:50 usually is last call, but 2 a.m. is done. And then 6 a.m. is when you can start drinking again. So yeah. So even if you're not a drinker, if you are a drinker, cool. You do not have to partake in the beverages. Usually when it's a game like that, the pub that I go to, the boozer I go to, usually they open up, not usually, but always they open up, whether it's 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time it is, they open up They have a crew on that works the kitchen. You're able to order food. You just eat food and eat your breakfast in the morning, and watch the game until it's 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, you can order an adult beverage if you like, if that's your what you need to do. I don't always drink it. I don't always drink because sometimes I'm driving and such, but I tend to when I'm at my boozer club, especially, I tend to drink Carlsberg. It's a superstitious thing with me. Like since Carlsberg is like basically the beer for Liverpool, I tend to drink Carlsberg as a superstitious thing, in support of the club. While I usually have maybe one beer during the first half and a second beer at the second half. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. I should say now. Sometimes the guys at the boozer, my local boozer, tend to get a little crazy. They get to ordering shots and everything else, and it can get a little wild. So that part can get a little interesting, but all the same. But yeah, that is all I got for today. Thank you again for showing up and showing love. I see that we got a couple heads in there. Got about double digits. Got to the double digits. You know how it is. Yeah, got you. Do not drink Crown Paints. That's not something I would say do for sure. I got you on that, Stephen. Big up to everyone. I will certainly, depending on whether I go to my local boozer tomorrow for the game, such an early morning game, depends on what happens tonight with the show that I have tonight. But yes, please do press the like button, leave a comment. If you want, leave your score predictions in the comments so that we can, I can answer those comments. And how it is what it is, man. Be sure to take care of yourself in this world that we live in. It's not easy to do so. I know that a lot of us have gone through a lot of, trials and tribulations. So be sure to take care of yourself, so that you can bring out the best version of yourself to be able to help those around you, your loved ones, your fellow Reds, those in your community. It's important to do so. It's important that we honor that message. You'll never walk alone. It means something to me. I know it means something to you. And I appreciate the fact that you're showing love by being here. I will announce on Twitter if I'm going to do a watch along. So I might just do a watch along, whether it's by myself or maybe with maybe Beijing Reds TV or Ensman's TV or one of the other brother or brethren channels out there. I'll let you guys know. So do follow me on Twitter if you're not, or X if you're not. The Reds 12th Man is my handle on there. Please do. I'll follow you back, especially since I know who the people in the chat are people that I know and like. So I'll follow you guys back so that you can communicate with me through the DMs. But all the same, please do reach out and show love. And I guess up the Reds. Until then, up the Reds, and let's get this victory tomorrow, guys. All right. I'll see you mañana. All right. Take care, guys.